Oh, hello. Well, I hope you're as cozy as I am. It's cold outside, there's still snow, and I have this totally real fire going on behind me. The only thing that could make this better is some warm hot chocolate. But if you don't have any, you can always go for the next best thing. Not a sponsor. Well, tonight I wanted to do something a bit different. Break things up a little bit. And so I'm going to give you the lesson this way. It's a simple one, and its focus is about how our faith and hope should ultimately be in the Lord. Now, I have 3 Psalms for us tonight. They're relatively short. You'll probably recognize the middle one. An interesting factoid about these group of Psalms, there's 15 total, but we're just looking at the first 3, is that they're all titled A Song of Accents. Now, we don't know what that means exactly. The best guess that some people have is that it has to do with maybe a type of music that was played alongside of them when you would recite them. Now, this group of Psalms in particular, the Song of Accents, would have been recited or read aloud as the Israelites were making their pilgrimage during one of the 3 festival times of the year. So, in a way, you could think of it as maybe Israel's Christmas music, which is pretty on point with where we're at in our season as well. Instead of jingle bells, maybe though they were talking about people being shot with God's arrows. So really, same thing, same kind of feel. So as I said, these psalms would be recited during one of the 3 pilgrimages that the Israelites might make during the year. The first being Passover, when they would celebrate Passover, the time of the Exodus from Egypt. The other one would be the Festival of Weeks, which also is called Pentecost, which was the wheat harvest and the giving of the Torah. And finally, the other one they might have made the pilgrimage during was the Festival of Booths, or just the last harvest of the year. So, imagine this. During Christmas time, you and your family pack up. You're getting ready to go to maybe your childhood home or your spouse's childhood home or something. Just making this pilgrimage together with family. And so you might sing Christmas carols on the way. It's that time of year, get you in the spirit, put you in the proper mood. And so you can think of it that way. It's an annual tradition. You would then, put on that holiday music and sing along the whole way there. So does it make a good comparison? Well, we are going to be looking at the first of 3 of these 3 Psalms of the whole section of 15. And so here's the first one. This is Psalm 120. I call on the Lord in my distress, and He answers me. Save me, Lord, from my lying lips and from deceitful tongues. What will He do to you, and what more besides you, deceitful tongue? He will punish you with a warrior's sharp arrows, with burning coals of the broom bush. Woe to me that I dwell in Meshech, that I live among the tents of Kedar. Too long have I lived among those who hate peace. I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. It must have been a nasty atmosphere at the time of the Israelite pilgrimages that they had so much difficulty with their neighbors as they were journeying through the lands. It's like that classic line in movies or TV shows where out-of-towners will come through town and you get the line, "Well, you must not be from around here." But here, the psalm describes curses and harsh words. And so I'd imagine, things must have gone a lot farther than just simply calling them outsiders. Sadly, it doesn't seem too far off in our world either. Here in our country, your place of origin kind of precedes you. And I remember growing up with a strange dislike for people from Kentucky. Maybe that offends you. I know, I'm sorry if it does. But I grew up in Evansville, and living on the border there, there was this weird feeling of contentment towards people from Kentucky. I don't know where it came from. It just happened. So I've grown since then. The thing that is focused here, though, is on peace. And the travelers seek peace with the natives being for war. So here the travelers are saying, well, we're the ones seeking peace, while the natives, the people around us, are seeking war. And I can totally see this in our nation as well, given the political climate and just everything going on. Seeking peace where others, unfortunately, just want to fight. So may God deliver us all from this. It's a difficult task, but I think through Him we can do it. Well, the next psalm is one that you might know. I lift my eyes to the mountains. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not let your foot slip. He who watches over you will not slumber. Indeed, he who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord watches over you. The Lord is your shade at your right hand. The sun will not harm you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forever. So what are the high places? What are the mountains? A different version might say high places. Well, there's two ways that we can look at this. The first way is that, the high place, the place where the temple was a symbol of strength and hope. So when the psalmist here is saying, I look to the high places, where does my help come from? That could be referring to God. So I look and I see, oh yes, I'm reminded that God is my hope, God is my strength, and He's the one that I should place my hope in. The other way to look at this is kind of the opposite. The Israelites had a real problem with following other gods and worshiping other gods, and so that's what's referred to as the high places sometimes in other parts of the Bible. It was where there were temples to other gods on these high places, and so when perhaps these travelers are walking through, they're looking at the high places and they're saying, where does my help truly come from? It doesn't come from these false gods. We need to remember that it comes from God. So you have these two opposite ideas that it could mean either one, but the end result is the same. Our help comes from God. Another cool thing is, and what may seem strange to us, is it talks about God protecting us in the daytime from the sun and the nighttime from the moon. Well, obviously the sun being protected from, we're familiar with that. You get sunburn. It can really make you tired when you're traveling during the day, and so that makes sense. But another belief they had was that the moon also kind of did this to you. So if you're traveling at night, you kind of had this weird feeling, almost like this madness kind of idea that the moon's rays were doing something to you. And so here again, it's a way of saying that God is protecting me both from the sun in the day and the moon at night. And so the last psalm on our Christmas music CD, right before you come to playing Auld Lang Syne, is 122. And it says, I rejoiced with those who said to me, let us go to the house of the Lord. Our feet are standing in your gates, Jerusalem. Jerusalem is built like a city that is closely compacted together. That is where the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, to praise the name of the Lord according to the statute given to Israel. There stands the thrones for judgment, the thrones of the house of David. Pray for peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you be secure. May there be peace within your walls and security within your citadels. For the sake of my family and friends, I will say, peace be within you. For the sake of the house of the Lord our God, I will seek your prosperity. Well, this is a hopeful one, and it's good because it ends our little, trinity of Psalms here. And it calls for us to focus on the right things, that even calls us for corporate prayer, praying together. This is above all how I see the church is working, or how it should be working, especially during these times. In our times of confusion with COVID, with politics, with racial issues, this is how I see the church responding, or again, how we should be responding. Hear those last verses again. I want you to hear those. It's starting at verse 6. Pray for peace. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you be secure. May there be a peace within your walls and security within your citadels. For the sake of my family and friends, I will say, peace be within you. For the sake of the house of the Lord our God, I will seek your prosperity. Can we say that we're seeking the prosperity of others? This takes a very self-sacrificial stance. It says, that last line is, for the sake of the house of the Lord, I will seek your prosperity. So it's not like, for anything that I'm going to gain, for God's glory alone, I'm going to seek your prosperity. And that, when we read it in context with these other two Psalms, you could say that they're talking about these people that they're passing through, these towns and these people that are really cursing them and maybe throwing them dirty looks, whatever. But they're possibly saying this about them as well. So it really takes that feel of a self-sacrifice and saying, you know what, I'm going to pray for peace, and for God's sake, if no one else, I'm going to seek your prosperity. So what are your thoughts? Should we make a playlist for every season? Again, I kind of made the reference of this being a holiday or Christmas playlist for Israelites that were making pilgrimages, as we might do when we have a song about it, I'll be home for Christmas, if we make those journeys around Christmas time. Should we have playlists for all times of the year to keep us focused? And how do you stay focused, especially when things can so easily keep you down? Well, here we are in 2020. Depending on how you look at it, maybe month 9, 10, 11, possibly 12 of the pandemic here in at least the United States. We've had so many different seasons of the pandemic. We have our quarantine period, our restrictions period, whatever. Just all kinds of different things. And I guess my experience through it all, although I wish maybe, we hadn't had it, there are some definite positives to it. It has challenged me and Sarah to get to know one another better, to spend more time together. There were stints where we would just play games every evening. We've watched a lot of movies together, and now with having the birth of our son, we've been able to even spend time with him. Not that we wouldn't have anyway, but just having a refocus of what things are important in life. And so I think that altogether these Psalms, for what their purpose was, bringing the family together as they journeyed during these pilgrimages, were ways to focus them on God and reminding them that God is the one that they should put their hope in, not anything else, not these high places, not the people around them that are cursing them and wanting them to get out of their town, but just on God. And so my prayer would be that would be our focus as well, not just even during this Christmas time, this Advent season, but throughout the year. Again, that's maybe why we need playlists for the whole year. So let me give you this benediction as we close, and just it's my hope that you would focus on God and put your true hope in Him. Lord, I pray that just as these Israelite pilgrims kept in focus the important things, that we might also do the same. As we are in the midst of this Advent season, we are called to focus on the ideas of hope, of love, of joy, and peace. And so I pray that would be at the forefront of our minds and attitudes as we interact with one another, and as we look forward to Christmas, that would be our focus. So God, send us out and help us to be your hands and feet in this world. It's in your name we pray. Amen.